check and make sure everything is on the up and up. Looks like the mic is working and I am live. Welcome to Kalari's Kraft&Chat. We have a very special crafting project for you today as we talk about certain things. Let me get this out of here and get things plugged back in proper while we get everything set up. I promise you the training wheels will come off soon, guys. But as I promised, Smitty is all ready for us to paint as we talk about the title of this Kraft&Chat, which is They Are Burning Our Country Down with MAGA Matches. You'd have to be living under a rock if you haven't heard the latest news in and around social media and our news outlets about Jimmy Kimmel being, some say it's an indefinite leave, others are blatantly calling it termination. He is far from the only one after that assassination of that bigot who have felt the outpour of ridiculousness. A young lady who works for DC Comics lost her job because she made the quip on Twitter that the only thing she felt sorry for was the bullet. Others who have called it karma, which it was, have also felt backlash from the same people who had no sympathy and nothing but nastiness and jokes to say about sitting Representative Nancy Pelosi's husband. So it is, to me, ridiculous the way we have selective outrage for certain things, but it's not surprising. And I gotta do this again. Give me just a moment. You're gonna hear a little bit of a ping because I thought I had everything set up properly before we started our little paint thing. But I wanted to get this little play-by-play that we all have pretty much to show the hypocrisy. That was the word I was looking for. The hypocrisy of some of these people. Because they don't care about right or wrong. They just don't. And it's infuriating that we even entertain their nonsense. So let me get this reference up really quick. Because I think people need to understand just how ridiculous this is. Let me pop Smitty's printing down. And we're going to make this bigger and read this out. Because I think people need to see where we're coming from with this. It says, the man who targeted and killed Democrat State Representative Melissa Horman and her husband and their dog was a Trump supporter. The man who targeted the home of Democratic Governor Josh Shapiro was also a Trump supporter. People forget early on in this year that somebody literally made threats and shot up the house of a sitting governor in Pennsylvania. The men who threatened to hang Mike Pence on January 6, 2021 were Trump supporters. The man who targeted and killed the son of the Obama-appointed district judge Esther Salas was a Trump supporter. The man who tried to kidnap Nancy Pelosi and assaulted and nearly killed her husband was a Trump supporter. The men who were convicted of trying to kidnap Governor Gretchen Whitmer, governor of my state, was a Trump supporter. The man who sent pipe bombs to the homes of both former President Obama and former President Biden was a Trump supporter. There is no equivalent or even similar list of Obama or Biden supporters who have carried out similar murder attempts, attempted murders, or violent attacks. Once again, and now they are trying and failing yet again to blame this young man as a radical leftist because, as I've said on several shorts on social media, this is a trap. Trump wants civil discourse to turn into civil unrest because then he can justify things like martial law. He can justify things like literally using our troops against innocent civilians. Because it's bad enough they have masked, unmarked vans rounding up innocent American citizens along with so-called illegals. And it's just frustrating to me. But it's not surprising. But we're going to get back to the Jimmy Kimmel topic because it is eye-opening how quick their side is to try to destroy somebody for not playing their fascist ball game. And it is stuff that I and many others like me warned you for years. I remember the Bonnet Chronicle last year detailing Project 2025's strategic steps to make us kowtow for fascism. And some of you just did not want to take this seriously. So we're going to read a bit of this article from the MAGA blog. There's more work to go. Team Trump sees Kimmel as the latest target, but not the last. He's already went after Stephen Colbert. He's trying to go after Seth Meyers and anybody he deems his little man syndrome can't handle. Because he can't handle critique, he can't handle a joke, he can't handle anybody not kissing his orange behind. And it is frustrating to me that we have to deal with this. As the week got underway, late night host Jimmy Kimmel devoted part of his show's monologue to the shooting death of Charlie Kirk. He's not an activist. We need to stop that. We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it, the Jimmy Kimmel Live host told viewers. Soon after a highlighted video clip in which Trump talked about the construction of the White House ballroom and questioned the Kirk's death. Once again, with the golfing, with sidelighting, and legitimately talking about everything else outside this little MAGA martyr, Trump doesn't care. Now that he's dead, he's no use to him. But he's going to target people while still trying to claim he's about free speech. No, you want free hate speech. And it's frustrating to watch this in real time because it was all preventable. The ensuing controversy led ABC to announce that Kimmel's show will be taken off the air indefinitely. They basically fired the man without trying. They've been pussy about it. In recent years, there have been plenty of samples in networks and media outlets often punishing celebrities for having crossed lines of propriety. But in this case, there is reason to believe it was a federal official who steered this process, leading to unavoidable accusations of government censorship. While Kimmel has been a target of Trump for several years, the campaign of this doofus has intensified over the summer, even before Kirk's slaying. In mid-July, for example, Republicans wrote online, I absolutely love that Stephen Colbert, got fired. His talent was even less than his ratings. I hear Jimmy Kimmel is next. So they were blatant about this attack. And what I want to remind these networks, while they try to make billion-dollar deals and other bullshit, is that eventually people are going to be beyond fed up. And why they're going to be fed up with your nonsense, as I look at Smitty's thing, yep, we are going to have fun painting this. Why people are really going to get tired of your shit is because it's easier to stream. My husband and I use HBO Max. We have Crunchyroll for anime. We watch a lot of YouTube now. We got rid of Netflix, which I kind of regret sometimes because there are some shows I want to watch, but it wasn't worth the price hike. We will be all right without network news being garbage because a lot of these mainstream networks also have streaming apps now. All of you network broadcasting, you're being put on notice. CBS, I don't know anybody under 70 that watches that channel, if I can be 100% honest. And then on top of that, NBC, haven't watched it in almost 2 decades. ABC, haven't watched it since TGIF was a thing. I don't even remember the last show I watched on Fox. Honestly speaking, network anything is damn near dead. And the things that were keeping people tuned in were shows like Jimmy Kimmel, Stephen Colbert, and other shows that late night owls would stay up to watch. And slowly but surely, you networks under this regime are killing your chances with any of us who don't want to waste our time with you. So I say, keep it up. Keep it up, because eventually, yous are going to feel the brunt of your own hubris. We'll get to the next part of this because I honestly did not cover the Hyundai raid like I wanted to because at the time I wasn't feeling good. But I couldn't believe the magnitude of idiocy that this administration did or the potential fallout. This was a $20 billion plus deal that we had with South Korea that this idiot stepped into it. I got a video to highlight that as well. But before that, let me, before I start working on Smitty, show you it's not quite finished yet. I still got to work on the trim of the house and the porch. But I am absolutely loving this paint job. Axiom Wolf was right. The blue does pop on it. I am really, really super happy with how this house has come out. And then I surprised him, as we're both classic Transformers fans, with a little classic VW Bumblebee. It's got the little Autobots logo. It is really nice. I was very happy with how this print came out, and it wasn't a lot of big paint job. It was pretty simple, and I was really excited about that. And I've got a bunch of Halloween stuff coming up, including a very detailed Ecto 1 to paint, some Pokemon figures and Halloween stuff. So I am super excited about that. But as we interact with this Hyundai raid and then get to the video about why this is so important, I want to remind you that just last week, this sitting doofus made the claim that he wanted to get more white immigration. He's not hiding the hatred or who he's stoking for. Yeah, all of these people still think that he's a man for them. And I will never quite understand it. So there's a small part of Smitty that I'm going to paint right now facing me because I don't want to mess up the whole thing. Axiom Wolf Kiddo and I all agreed that because we're a blended family, Smitty is going to have like a nice light brownish patch to him to represent all of us. Because while I'm dark brown and Axiom has no brown and Kiddo has light brown, it's going to be a gnome that celebrates our blended family. So I'm going to very carefully paint his nose and cheeks first, then turn him around so that I can get his hat. Now I know that the initial model had the red and the blue, and I might mix that up just a little bit, but not too much. I'm not sure if I'm going to do the hat red. I should, because that is traditional for garden gnomes. And then do the coat blue. I think that might actually work out a bit better as I'm talking about it. But I'm going to get his face done first and then turn him around for you guys to see. South Korea says it's helping its citizens return voluntarily after the huge Hyundai raid that arrested over 500, including 300 plus South Koreans that were over here legally to help out with the procedures in this plant. It is beyond ridiculous the amount of fallout that things like this are having on business. But as I've said before, MAGA and their bigotry are bad for business. You just want to be haters? No one can stop you. It is literally a right to be a stupid bigot. But when your stupid bigotry is costing us billions of dollars in deals with different countries because you can't rein it in, that's where a lot of us call the line. Not only are jobs on the line now because of this idiocy, but any future business deals with any other big corporations from outside our U.S. Waters is going to be under jeopardy because nobody wants to send workers over here for them to be so disrespected. And it is beyond ignorance at this point for anybody to act like this wasn't done on purpose. So let's scroll down a bit because there's a little bit of a video here. It's 2 minutes. I'm going to pause this and get the sound going. Oh, this is about I'm going to do a whole thing about the vaccines as well. But let me play this really quick because this is so ridiculous. I have a whole thing on the dead bear guy coming up on Tuesday.
I believe preventable
Unless
diseases
something
will
else
return. And I believe that we will have our children harmed for things that we know they do not need to be harmed by. Polio, measles, diphtheria, whooping cough.
The stakes laid bare by fired CDC Director Dr. Susan Menares over the future of the nation's vaccine policy. In August, 29 days after he called her scientific credentials unimpeachable, Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. dismissed his handpicked Senate-confirmed choice over vaccines.
He just wanted blanket approval.
Okay.
And if I could not commit to approval of each and every one of the recommendations that would be forthcoming, I needed to resign.
Menares told the Senate committee she refused to pre-approve the decisions of a vaccine advisory panel without science or data. Several new members of that committee, selected by Kennedy, share his vaccine skepticism.
I was fired for holding the line on scientific integrity, but that line does not disappear with me.
2 weeks ago, Kennedy told another Senate committee Menares lied about her firing.
But you tell the head of the CDC that if she refused to sign off on your changes to the childhood vaccine schedule, that she had to resign.
No, I told her that she had to resign because I asked her, are you a trustworthy person? And she said no.
Menares also
That
said
is
Kennedy
ridiculous.
disparaged.
Are you a trustworthy person? Who would? Why would you ask her that, eh? Are you trying to keep secrets from the American people, Mr. Dead Bear Guy? This is not funny. This is why I said these people are lighting our country on fire. They are using their hatred and their ignorance to destroy all the norms. And we can't play around with vaccines, especially after COVID ravaged us.
The nation's top health agency.
He called CDC the most corrupt federal agency in the world, emphasized that CD employees were horrible people. He said that CDC employees were killing children and they don't care. He said during the COVID outbreak, CDC told hospitals to turn away sick COVID patients until they had blue lips before allowing them to get treatment.
Menares said Kennedy's assertions are not true. Some committee Republicans zeroed in on the COVID vaccine.
Does the COVID vaccine reduce hospitalization for children under 18?
It can.
It doesn't.
Doctor and committee chairman Bill Cassidy wants to hear from Kennedy himself.
What irks me about that is this guy who isn't a medical specialist will argue with somebody who is. This is why I said their ignorance and idiocy cannot continue to go unchecked.
I think Secretary Kennedy has to come and address this specifically.
All right, and with that, Ann joins us now. Ann, there's been a lot of talk, too, about a meeting that's happening about the vaccine advisory panel. What are they discussing?
Tom, Menares said she's nervous about that meeting that'll take place tomorrow. She said RFK Jr. told her in August the childhood vaccine schedule would change this month. On the agenda tomorrow, the measles, mumps, rubella, and chickenpox vaccine, as well as the hepatitis B shot. Tom?
That's not
tonight. Okay. FBI Director Kash Patel grilled.
And the thing is, as much as I want to talk about the FBI stuff, that is most definitely going to have to be its own cast as well. Because it never ends with these people. It really doesn't. Now let's get back to the Hyundai raid, if I can, with this. There we go. Let's get rid of you. The South Korean government said on Monday it's arranging for hundreds of its nationals to leave the United States voluntarily after they were detained in an immigration raid on a Hyundai facility in Georgia, and that has strained relationships with one of our key allies. South Korea has been a key ally for decades now. And instead of respecting that, this administration has once again put its foot in it, and now has to walk back stuff because, once again, we have idiots at the wheel. The South Korean Foreign Ministry said it is in consultations with the U.S. officials to ensure the return of detained nationals at the earliest possible date. And I can read between the lines of this. Growing up with Asian relatives and having a heavy Asian influence in my life, this is a polite way of saying we're going to get our people out, and this is the end of this. And this came after South Korea successfully negotiated terms with Trump despite his tariffs. He still couldn't let his racist policies not have a step in it with geopolitics. And now, South Korea is like, we're getting our people out. We will not let down our guard until every one of our people returns safely. Because they know, everybody has a pulse on what's been happening. They know people could be sent to South America or Florida's little Alcatraz bullshit. Nobody wants to see their people suffer under this bigoted regime. About 300 South Korean nationals were among the 475 people detained on Thursday, about a week and a half ago, when officials from Homeland Security, Investigations, Immigration, and Customs Enforcement, basically ICE, and other federal agencies, which, why do you need so many agencies? I heard they even use the IRS agents, which is beyond ridiculous. Raided a construction site in the town of Ellabelle, where South Korean companies Hyundai and I believe Kia are the two companies that had big plants there. U.S. officials said the raid was a part of Trump's administration of escalate and crack down on immigrants. It's just bigoted. I don't care what anybody says. This is just bigotry in 4K, and it's going to harm us more than it harms anybody else. I need a smaller brush to get the finer edges with the red. Yeah, you'll do. It's just frustrating. It's the largest operations that these people are bragging about from Homeland Security. To me, it was the most unnecessary raid that I've ever seen. All you did was harm business and innocent people and probably traumatize a bunch of workers who were just there to help the U.S. make money. But I digress. The detentions have drawn outrage in South Korea, with one lawmaker calling them a slap in the face after Seoul pledged $500 billion to our country for this joint deal. So it was worse than $20 billion. They promised to invest $500 billion in our country. And what do? We round up innocent people in this ridiculous raid to what? Who are we trying to show power to? Who are you trying to intimidate? This is ridiculous. I'll bring Smitty back in just a moment. I just want to get the edges of his hat without hitting his face and nose too much. And with the fine tip brush, it's a little easier, but I want to get in close. It's just frustrating. It's frustrating because it didn't have to be like this. It's frustrating because there's still some people cheering shit like this on, along with cheering on 7-year-olds being yoinked out of school by this fascist administration, but call themselves good Christians as they do this. The oxymoron just shows itself. The U.S. industries, including a $26 billion grant from Hyundai, was part of the tariff negotiations. Others have said the incident could dampen broader business between the United States and South Korea, who's not just an automotive giant, mind you. Electronics, everything from appliances to computers to things that we buy here in the U.S. regularly, could be impacted by stupid raids like this. But you can't expect stupid bigots to understand that, especially those with no skin in the game. Especially those who think, well, it won't affect me directly, so why should I care? Until our economy tanks from all this bullshit. That's why you should care. All of you who think you're safe under your identities, you're going to fuck around and find out. Because this administration is really super bad for business. Let's tab down a little bit more. Yeah, it says electric giant Electronics come from South Korea. Cars that come from South Korea that are very fuel efficient and help the environment. We're doing everything we can to set our asses backwards decades. Speaking to reporters Sunday, the dumbass denied that the incident had hurt relations with South Korea, who has the world's 10th largest economy, mind you. And it's like, can you not lie for just a second? Because it's easily verifiable that Korea is not pleased by the roundup of its citizens who came here to train our dumbasses on how to run the plant more efficiently and properly. But you know, why let the truth get in the way of lies, right? Let's see if there's any more to this. Okay, we got a bit of a thing about the response here.
A search warrant for the whole site.
Tonight, growing fallout over the massive immigration raid at a Hyundai facility near Savannah, Georgia. South Korea's foreign minister responding to the raid, he was deeply concerned by the operation. South Korea ordering all-out efforts to respond to the arrest, including preparing to dispatch diplomats to the Georgia facility and to Washington. DHS officials saying they arrested 475 workers, mostly South Korean nationals, the largest single-site enforcement operation in Homeland Security history.
We are sending a clear and unequivocal message that those who exploit our workforce, undermine our economy, and violate federal laws will be held accountable.
President Trump.
The idiocy about that is they're not exploiting. This was a part of a deal that the numbnuts worked out with South Korea. But this is what happens when we are in chronically stupid times, led by chronically stupid people who only have bigotry as their badge.
Backing the raid.
We want to get along with other countries and we want to have a great, stable workforce. But we had a lot of illegal aliens working there. So, look, they're doing their job.
And experts warning the raid could increase tensions between Seoul and Washington after South Korea pledged some $500 billion in U.S. investments.
This is going to have an impact on U.S.-Korean economic relations. And the question is this a major setback or is this something that both sides can work through professionally?
Hyundai saying none of those detained were directly employed by the company and vowing to conduct its own investigation, adding it has zero tolerance for those who don't follow the law. And tech giant LG, which is based in South Korea and had 47 of its employees detained, announced it's suspending business trips to the U.S. Jose?
Wow.
Tonight, authorities identified the suspect, 24-year-old.
LG is such a big company, too. A lot of us have smartphones. A lot of us have the appliances. And people are they're trying to both side this again, which is frustrating because there's no both sides to this. Hyundai might try to issue that statement that there were workers that were working there that were not hired by proper means, but it doesn't stop the 300 of the people who were detained. And this is a slap in the face to one of our biggest allies and one of our biggest competitors in several fields that make a lot of money. So I just feel like Trump really stepped into it, but I'm not the only one. Let's bring up this video by the Midas Touch. I was going to go over Representative Jamal's impassioned plea about immigration, but I know I'm preaching to the choir to those who care. And hey, honey, it's good to see you. But I also feel like we're also not going to get through to the people who just want to hate. It is what it is, and it's ridiculous. But let's get this Midas Touch fired up, because I'm really sick of this administration, honestly. And I could go on for hours, but I want you to see just how stupid the stupid raid was for our business. Let me get this fired up. Okay.
Screwed up big time. I mean, he screwed his entire administration up with how it's handled South Korea. And now South Korea is like, we ain't investing any more money in the United States. You know that $12 billion Hyundai plant we've been building for many, many years, even before you took office, Donald Trump. Yeah, say goodbye to that. Those 300 plus South Korean workers who were trying to train the Americans how to run a battery plant, which would have been great for the economy of Georgia. Say goodbye to that. Here's what Donald Trump's posting, quite literally begging for the workers to come back and begging for other foreign workers from other countries to come back, because this has had a domino effect, folks. It's not just impacting South Korea, where people feel terrorized by the Trump regime, but all throughout Asia and frankly the rest of the world. They're like, why would we build factories in this fascist regime in the United States that attacks us, literally puts us in shackles? Here's what Donald Trump posted. He goes,
before he even gets to that, that is an excellent question. Why would anybody risk their employees, their workers who could come here on a safe visa before to be detained illegally, to be questioned and treated like criminals for just coming to do their job, a legally sanctioned job? I wouldn't want to put myself in that kind of harm's way. Nobody would.
When foreign companies who are building extremely complex product machines and various other things, which he puts in quotes, come into the United States with massive investments, I want them to bring their people of expertise for a period of time to teach and train our people to make these very unique and complex products as they phase out of our country and back into their land. If we didn't do this, all of that massive investment will never come in the first place. Chips, semiconductors, computer chips, trains, and so many other products that we have to learn from others how to make, or in many cases...
I'm pretty sure he didn't come up with this ridiculous tweet. It's way too coherent for him. But to really break down what he's saying is, I fucked up. I didn't realize how much money I was pissing away. Please ignore the fact that I am still going to try to round you up at a whim, because it's not me, it's ICE. It's not me, it's another agency that I can blame, even though it's my orders. They're following his orders.
Relearn because we used to be great at it, but not anymore. For example, shipbuilding, where we used to build a ship a day.
Ridiculous. Shipbuilding. How old? He is in his 70s. Of course he's worried about shipbuilding.
And now we barely build a ship a year. I don't want to frighten off or disincentivize investment into America by outside countries or companies.
But that's exactly what he's doing.
We welcome them. We welcome their employees, and we are willing to proudly say we will learn from them and do even better than them at their own game sometime into the not too distant future. And if that wasn't enough right there, then the White House account reposted Donald Trump's post, and then they wrote, we don't want to frighten or disincentivize them. I get it. You don't want to frighten them. But when you have masked ICE agents roll up on them and disappear them and treat them like war criminals, yeah, that's what's going to happen. And here's the thing, Donald, we live in a very interconnected world. And as you're recognizing in that post, but which you've screwed up massively at, and there's really no coming back from at this time, we depend on other countries for certain things. They depend on us for a lot of things. And in fact, the things that they depended on us for often was at a major advantage for the United States. And there was a reason why the rest of the world would want to put its money into the United States, into United States real estate, buying United States treasuries, but not anymore because they see what a psychotic regime we have. So, of course, you all know by now, here's what happened to the South Koreans who were kidnapped, shackled. This was an image of them being shackled. Here, play this clip.
In video released by U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, Asian workers are seen shackled and getting onto a bus after an ICE raid.
You know, the last time our country did this, it was when they put Japanese Americans, not Japanese foreigners. These were American citizens who had homes, businesses, and everything else in internment camps. Our country just can't help but continue a disgusting legacy of hate and making the same mistakes over and over again.
Raid on a Hyundai Motor car battery facility in Georgia. 300 Koreans were arrested in Thursday's raid.
Now, here is the video that ICE released. Just to be clear, it wasn't just that ICE did it. ICE then made like a hype video. They made a propaganda video of themselves rolling up with the South Korean shackled. And you better believe that was front page news. That's the top story in South Korea right now. Here, play this clip.
GSP in position, north side.
Now, you had the 316 South Korean workers who were kidnapped by ICE militarized forces in Georgia at that Hyundai factory. They returned to the airport back in Seoul. Here's how it looked when they returned. Play this clip. Just to hear some of the voices as well from the wives of some of the kidnapped workers and some of the kidnapped workers. Let's play this clip right here.
Nobody is going to stay and work when it's like this. After this situation, we considered leaving our jobs. I don't know how the visa will work next time, and there will be some people who need to go there, but I have to think about it.
I mean, why go? Why come here and be disrespected?
They went there to help the U.S. The U.S. side also wanted them to work there, but now they are being treated like criminals, which feels very unpleasant. Since they're not actual criminals, the fact that they were taken away like that, I think that's a real problem.
Now, the president of South Korea, President Lee, also made a statement before the kidnapping took place. And perhaps he made this statement a little bit too prematurely. This is how foreign leaders think about the United States right now. So when he was speaking at this international roundtable event right here, the CSIS event, the Center for Strategic International Studies event, he talked about how when he was flying into the United States to meet with Donald Trump in August, he was worried that Trump was going to pull a Zelensky on him. This is South Korea's President Lee saying, I was worried Trump was going to pull a Zelensky. Pull a Zelensky. That's the phrase that foreign leaders now use to talk about going into the Oval Office. Will he pull a Zelensky? Meaning, will he try to mock and embarrass and take away my nation's sovereignty in that golden bordello of an Oval Office? Here, play this clip of President Lee. Let's play it.
So before, first of all, before I met with President Trump today, he posted on Truth Social a very threatening post, which I felt. And then during the press gaggle, he mentioned about the Korean government's investigations regarding the previous government. And he mentioned that he would look into the search and seizure of U.S. bases. And so my staff was worried that we might face a Zelensky moment.
Wow. The weather is heating up, and your nighttime bedroom temperature has a huge impact on your sleep quality.
Okay, Midas.
If you wake up too hot or sleep at the perfect and feel as nice, try miraclemade.com/Midas.
Right before President Lee arrived, Donald Trump goes, "What's going on in South Korea? Seems like a purge or revolution. We can't have that and do business there. I am seeing the..."
He is so fucking ignorant. I can't. This is the person we put in charge of our country. Geopolitics is never going to be the same. We are literally the laughingstock.
New president today at the White House. Thank you for your attention to this matter. So some right-wing groups, there's a MAGA faction in South Korea, by the way. Like their far right wing in South Korea has modeled themselves after MAGA. And so they bring that same, like literally, they call themselves like MAGA there in South Korea. And so they kind of laundered into the U.S. these deranged conspiracies that, South Korea was going after Christians and South Korea is going after all these groups. And so based on hearing that, Trump makes a post. At the press conference, Donald Trump was asked about it, and Donald Trump was like, well, I posted about it because I heard about it. I'm not really sure what it's about, but I post about it.
Why would you post it? Like, I legit, this is stuff that you teach a 5-year-old. You don't run with something that's not verifiable. You don't run with rumors. This man is 70 plus years old. There's no excuse for this level of ignorance at all. I blame his mother. Let's not do that. Cheap viewers, I don't need. Let's get you out of here. Because that is beyond ridiculous. And I am honestly not in the mood for bots. I thought Twitch was dealing with this nonsense. Okay, let's zap you into the shadow realm. Bam. There we go. I thought I wasn't going to have to do that much anymore. But here we are with the bots still. I don't need cheap watchers. I'm good. I don't want a view bot. If people sit in, they sit in. If they don't, they don't. I'm still going to do my spiel while painting amazing little crafts. And speaking of which, let's get some of this gold stuff done so that we can cover some of my mistakes, because I made quite a few. Get your buttons. Either way, it's beyond ridiculous that we let this idiot continue on, but it is what it is. Let's fire this video up again.
Then at that Oval Office meeting, the South Korean president mocked Donald Trump to his face, but Trump was too stupid to realize that he was even being mocked here. And so South Korea's President Lee, he goes, look, you know what, Donald? Because Donald kept on bragging about Kim Jong-un in North Korea. And he goes, this is what the president of South Korea says. Total troll of Trump. He goes, I look forward to you meeting with Kim Jong-un, and I guess I'll see you building a Trump Tower in North Korea. And you're going to be playing golf there, I suppose, knowing that none of those things will ever happen in North Korea. Here, play this clip right here.
Yes, please. 세계사적인 평화의 메이커로서의 역할을 꼭 해주시기를 기대합니다.
And I would like to mention that the only remaining divided nation in the world is the Korean Peninsula, and I would like to ask for your role in establishing peace on the Korean Peninsula. So I look forward to your meeting with Chairman Kim Jong-un and construction of a Trump Tower in North Korea and playing golf at that place.
아마 기다리고 있을 것 같습니다. 기다리고 있을 것 같습니다.
So I believe he will be waiting for you.
Yeah,
and when we talk about the real world ramifications of what's going on right now, there is no trade deal with South Korea. Now, do you remember when you have Donald Trump and his entire regime announcing South Korea deal, we've done the deal, South Korea. Remember, I've always told you that all these trade deals are like entirely bogus. I say, look, show me the piece of paper where there's a signed deal with binding terms that's like multiple pages in length. Then you can come back to me and say there's a deal. But you have Howard Lutnick saying South Korea deal not signed, paperwork remains. South Korea must decide to accept deal or face harsh penalties, to face tariffs. We will not give them.
Are you serious? You're going to threaten the people that we actually need for our economy. Bold yet stupid move, but go off there, dum-dums.
Them any flexibility like Japan, Howard Lutnick says.
Oh, now
this is how you're trying to court them back? Are you kidding me? And then U.S. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick, he basically admits that there was no deal struck when he was confronted with it on CNBC. Let's play the clip.
To the point on Hyundai, so is the Korea trade deal in jeopardy now?
Well, the Koreans didn't sign when the president was in.
right? The president came in, you remember that? He came to the White House. Notice how we didn't talk about trade? Because he didn't sign the piece of paper. I mean, the devil is in the details always. Well, I think they saw the Japanese now, so there's no flexibility, right? The Japanese signed the contract. The Koreans either accept that deal or pay the tariffs. Black and white. Pay the tariffs or accept the deal.
But has the immigration raid led to more tension there about...
I think you're going to see President Trump go out and address that. He knows that to build these great factories, we need leadership of people who built them before if he wants to do it fast. So I think he's going to make a deal with the different countries that when they want to...
They're saying a lot of nothing. Oh, we realize we messed up, but we can't piss off the man baby by saying we really fucked up this foreign policy and this trade negotiation. So I'm going to try to double talk and saying, well, he knows that we need this to be built faster. No, you need it to be built right. It's not just about fast. It's about having the competence to build such plants and run them efficiently. We do not have that skill.
Build big here. He'll find a way to get their workers proper work visas, meaning short-term work visas, train Americans, and then head home. I think the president is very clear. I think you're going to see an ABC from him. A, you come in. B, you train Americans. And C, you head on home.
And finally, you have Donald Trump threatening the sovereignty of South Korea. Donald Trump's like, because we have American troops in South Korea, I would like for you to give us ownership.
He did not. He did not. We already had a Korean War. My grandpa Bill fought in it. I don't want to have to go to war with an ally because this idiot can't keep his fucking foot out of his mouth. Are you kidding me right now? Don't threaten don't risk our troops' lives like that either. Oh my God, this man.
Of your land. We would like to own your land.
What?
South Korea. Think about what the people in South. You want to own our land? The hell are you talking about? This is what he's done with Denmark and Greenland. This is what he said to Canada. And also, he is a chicken, S-H-I, you know what I'm about to say as well when it comes down to it. Instead, he has the Navy raiding fishing boats off the coast of Venezuela, a tuna fishing boat the other day off of Venezuela. Oh, and then he has the military bomb fishing boat, which Trump said had 11 people moving cocaine from Tren de Aragua. How do you know they weren't trafficking innocent people if there were 11? But who were they? We still don't get to know who the hell these people are. Anyway, here's Donald Trump saying that he wants the South Korean land. Let's play it.
South Korea, would you reduce the number of forces in South Korea so that the United States could have more flexibility in the region? Would you consider reducing the number of U.S. forces in South Korea so that the United States can have more flexibility?
Well, I don't want to say that now because we've been friends and we're friends. And look, we have a lot of people over there. We have over 40,000 troops in South Korea. As you know, South Korea agreed to pay for that during my last term. And then when Biden came in, they...
Oh, my God. I can't with this man. So he's still trying to shake countries down. And he's saying that North Korea, well, not North Korea, because we know he wants to be friends with the up kid. He's saying that South Korea agreed to pay him for having troops there when they don't need our troops. Do you not realize that South Korea has a very strong military, that young men at the age of 18 are conscripted there to serve their nation? They did not need us. They still don't need us there. So this is garbage, once again. But you're never going to convince his bigot base. And he is causing geopolitical issues with these statements. He is going to have South Korea believing that we are a hostile nation towards them. Which, with him in power, we pretty much are. It's fucking ridiculous.
I blamed to Biden that I wasn't a nice person, and he agreed not to pay. He gave up billions of dollars. We were getting paid billions of dollars.
For the plant, you moron. Fucking look at that makeup on his face. Ridiculous.
But then Biden ended that for whatever reason.
Because we don't shake down our allies, Trump. We don't shake down our allies.
It's unbelievable that he did. But we have a very good relationship militarily. They would say, but we gave you land. I said, no, you didn't. You lease us land. There's a big difference between giving and leasing.
This is real colonizer speak, y'all. In real time and live in 4K. This is how colonizers think.
And maybe one of the things I'd like to do is ask them to give us ownership of the land where we have the big fort. You know, we spent a lot of money building a fort, and there was a contribution made by South Korea, but I would like to see if we could get rid of the lease and get ownership of the land where we have a massive military base.
Well, there you have it, folks. Let me know what you think. Hit subscribe.
I can let you know what I think right now. I can't stop people from being prejudiced. Not my job, not my fight. Don't have the energy or the crayons to continuously show humans, like myself, I wish I wasn't human some days, but to show other human beings that it costs nothing to be decent people and to not hate somebody just because they don't look like you, act like you, worship or talk like you, or love people the way you think they should. It costs nothing to be decent. But so many fuckers out here don't want to be decent. They want to run their mouths and not get in trouble, yet then turn the same thing and destroy other people's lives. So claiming, oh, this person indulges in hate speech. They want to be awful to people that don't look like them because it makes them feel better for their mediocrity. They want to fail upwards like that dead bigot did. They think they're all just displaced millionaires and billionaires if they continue to stoke the fires of division. But this division isn't just going to be bad for us economic and social wise. The heart of our country has always been on life support, and this continuance to embrace hate over accepting that there are people that are different than you, and it doesn't hurt you to embrace that and mind your own damn business. But there are so many people who root themselves in harmful ideology, and they're loud, and they're taking our country one by one into a place that is going to be almost irreparable. And what can we all collectively do about it? It might feel like nothing sometimes. It really does sometimes feel like, well, what the fuck are we supposed to do when the bigots have won? When they threaten our very calm and peaceful existence that we had under the Biden-Harris administration. When they're threatening things like mail-in ballots and absentee ballots now, because they know that is the one way a lot of us who don't feel safe dealing with their loud and ridiculous people in ballot lines, even though I will go, I don't give a fuck. I'm going to vote the way I want to vote. But there are plenty of other people who don't want to risk that. We have to, during the midterms, even though there are already those sky is falling types trying to dissuade you by saying, oh, we're not going to have a chance. We won't if we don't do something to get at least our Congress back in gear against this. And right now, as they fight over that ridiculous Republican bill that wants to have a national day for that dead bigot Charlie Kirk, and other provisions that will harm our country rather than stabilize our country, while those are like me who want Schumer to really push for a shutdown, to show these Republicans that they're not the only ones that can threaten that shit. We have got to use the last tool we have at our arsenal to fight for our democracy before it's completely lost. I know that this administration has been steamrolling shit for the last couple of weeks, for the last couple of months even. But if we just lay down and take it, there is nobody that's going to come and save us because he is isolating our allies. He is making unnecessary enemies out of countries that wanted to work with us. It is on us who see how ridiculous all of this is to do our parts at the voting booth this coming midterm. Find out who is running in your district, what their platforms are, how they want to stand up against this administration. I got an email earlier today that Governor Walz is running for re-election in Minnesota. It is what he wants to do to protect Minnesotans from this nonsense. We need to be on board with our state and local representatives to stop all of this hatred from ruining our country. Because if we don't do it, America is only going to be left as a shell. It is beyond ridiculous to me that I have to say this as we are watching in real time human rights violations. As we are watching in real time people doublespeak as they cause us irreversible economic and geopolitical harm. All to cater to a man baby who doesn't care who gets hurt in this ridiculous fallout, because he can't be told he's wrong on anything. And he's surrounded by goofy ass yes men and women who are so afraid to lose their position of power that they don't care that this is going to descend us into beyond bad. So I am begging you, vote like all of our lives, but especially your lives. For those of you who can't see past yourself, depend on it. Because right now it does. Right now, we are watching in real time this administration tank us globally. And it might not take a Dem at this point to redeem us. We might be beyond redeemable. But I'm about to wrap this up. I will be back hopefully on Tuesday. I don't have a lot of plans. We have a septic guy coming out, and Greg has some plans. But I already let him know that I was probably going to stay home and do my Tuesday Kraft&Chat. And you better believe I got word for Robert Kennedy Jr. and his ilk. Especially after watching that quick clip of that woman that she just wanted to do her job. She wants to use actual logic and science. And to be challenged by these idiots who don't seem to care that they just want us sick and ill. But on Tuesday, I will definitely show you the finished Smitty. I'm really excited about how he's coming out. I think he is going to look very dapper when I'm finished with him. But so far, this is the first couple of coatings, and I am loving this. Thank you all so much for watching. Big news, Axiom, even though it's almost 4 years old, I messed up when I first got it published. I had no idea how to do things like audiobooks. When Apple first approached me for the audiobook, I was like, is this a scam? And then they worked with me. It took them about a year and a half to get it done because it is a big book. It is now available in the Apple shop for those who have iOS devices and stuff. I am looking on ways to get it downloaded for other formats as well, because they do work with us authors on that. But for now, you can pick up the Axiom audiobook on Apple Books. We still have Taara as well. We're working on getting that audiobook for that panned out with Apple Books. I am very excited about this, and I thank everybody who has bought a copy of both Axiom and Taara. We will be bringing back giveaways for the holidays as well, and I'm excited about that. But for now, I'm not going to do a Minnesota goodbye this time. I'm going to wrap it up. I hope you have a great weekend, and see you on Tuesday.